These are my stock picks, the top 5 stock picks for the week of March 30th, 2015. We have 5, as always, and we will be using Yahoo's interactive free stock chart, as always. You want to switch this to the candlestick chart, choose candle. You want to switch it to 1 month. And then over here, you put in the symbol, and that gives you pretty good analysis. For other analysis, use stockta.com. We'll use that to find the support and resistance levels. But overall, using this Yahoo Finance interactive chart is usually good enough. So here are the 5 stock picks I have for March 30, the week of 2015. We're going to start with a penny stock, RCGP. Actually, I prepared these right after, what did I say? Is this right? I prepared these right after the market close on Friday evening. So I have to actually remind myself as I walk you through these why I chose these stocks. So let's start with this one. Okay, this is a penny stock. Yahoo doesn't really show it so well, but you can look at, oh yeah, Yahoo stocks here. Yahoo stocks with penny stocks, but you can see this candlesticks at least. It says like 0 0 penny 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 penny, right? But you get the idea. You can see that it obviously goes up, so even though it says a penny, it's probably less than a penny here, and then exactly a penny here, and so on. What we're looking at here is something very interesting. We don't see a continuation gap, but we do see very down below. We see these volume changes. Prior to March the 23rd, we had very small volumes. But at March the 23rd, we had a bigger volume. March the 24th, we had a huge volume. And March the 27th, we had another big volume. What's interesting about this is for penny stocks, we usually experience a pump and dump phenomenon where the stock is even for a while and then suddenly it rises really quickly, which is what we saw on March the 23rd. And then it sells really quickly, which is accompanied by a really large volume, which we saw on March 24th. What's interesting about this is that pump and dump didn't act like a normal pump and dump where it goes all the way up and then all the way back down. The dump didn't really go that far down. And in fact, the next day, the stock went back up. Now, what's interesting about this, most of all, is if you look at the wicks of these candlesticks, you see every candlestick has a wick, whether it be small or large, at the top or the bottom, sometimes both. You see on the 23rd, there's a tiny wick above it. You have to move it away from the 23rd to actually see it. On the 24th, you got a wick on the top and the bottom, if you can see those. But look at the 27th. Look at how high that wick is. It goes all the way up to 2 cents. Now, think of it. If you bought at 1 penny and it went up to 2 pennies, if you put all your money in there, you would have doubled your money in 1 day if you sold at the top. What this tells us is that there's not really a resistance level that's clear here. Because although when you see a stock that's even in a certain area, if it suddenly has a rise or a fall, we don't know exactly how far it can go. So this is a great penny stock to get into if you're into penny stocks. If you don't want to put a lot of money into a stock, you can just put $100 in here and see if it does that same kind of action again. If it goes all the way from 1 penny to 2 pennies, your $100 just turned into $200 within the course of a day or so. I'm going to recommend this for the next week because I don't see any resistance in sight, but I do see an upward trend, and it seems to be with a very high volume. The characteristics of this stock has changed significantly, so that it's not just a even stock with a low volume. Now it's a stock that's moving upward with high volume, even on the days that are bad, where the stock falls with that really high selling volume. It doesn't fall that much, so it seems like a safe penny stock to invest in, even though it's already up 50%. So that's my penny stock pick of the week. The rest of the stocks will not be penny stocks. For example, the next one is VZ. If you know what VZ is, it's Verizon. It's a phone company. They are already quite expensive. I'm recommending this because we have a candlestick pattern called a bullish harami, which is when you have a green candlestick within a red candlestick. Usually implies an upward trend. If you want to check out the resistance and other indicators for this stock, just go to stock ticker, put in that symbol, you see we've got a lot of resistance. Right now we're at 48.56. That's above a level of support and below a level of resist, which is kind of confusing because it's saying that we're going to stay in this level, but obviously not. This is a very volatile stock. And with this new pattern, you can predict, even though it looks like it's falling, it's probably hit a bottom. So this is one of those scenarios where we can say, I want to buy low, sell high. Well, actually, now you can actually buy low, and you'll probably be able to see another pattern like this, where bump, 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 goes all the way up. You notice, you see this two candlestick pattern? Big red, small green with inside, right? Big red, small green inside. That's the same thing that happened before this upturn. And that's what we're going to expect here. That we're going to have another upturn during the next week. So get into Verizon if you can. We're going to experience something like this possibly, which will bring us a couple bucks per share, which is not a bad profit for a week. Next one we're going to look at is CCL. Carnival Corporation. I have no idea if they're related to carnivals at all. What's interesting about this is, as a gap trader, I always am monitoring gaps. Now this gap is a little interesting. The reason is it's got a huge volume and it's outside of the past 4 days' trading regions. However, it's not really outside of the true trading region because you can see this candlestick overlaps with this candlestick. So is it really moving away from what it used to be? Has its characteristics become a different set of characteristics than before? That's a hard question to answer. But just based on volume alone and the huge amount of space between this candlestick and the next day's candlestick, you can say this is probably going to be a breakaway gap, and we're probably going to see a completely new trend in the stock, which is going to be bullish. So I'm saying, if you can, get in now. We see there's a wick on the bottom, wick on the top. That implies indecision. We don't know if there's resistance or support here. This is more of a risky trade than the past two I've shown you, but the potential for growth here is higher than the other two as well. So if you're into a more risk seeking trade strategy, this is the one for you. What we're going to look at next is CFG. Citizens Financial Group. Are you a citizen? Do you have money? Then you should join this group. Alright, what are we seeing here? Why did I choose this stock? I don't see any interesting candlesticks, so I probably chose this stock based on something in stockta.com. I'm going to go ahead and look at it now. We are at what price? 24.48. 24.48. We are above a support, below a resist. Let's see here. Okay. Fibonacci's. Long-term, short-term, intermediate, all bullish. That means usually after a stock has gone down, it's going to head back up. That's what the Fibonacci's tell us. If it's bullish, it means when the stock falls, it usually reverses the fall. Now, if it reverses the fall and it gets above this level here at the resist, 24.75, that resist becomes a support, and we can move all the way up at least $1 to 25.58. So let's see, 24, we want to get above 24.75. That seems pretty easy. We're really close. So based on the Fibonacci's, I'm recommending this stock because if we break this resistance and it becomes a support, then at least we're going to make $1 on this $25 investment. And my math has faltered. You know, it's ridiculous because my bachelor's degree is in mathematics, but I can't perform math in my head. That's a quick 4% ROI within like a week. That's my prediction. We're going to go on to HOTT, which everybody knows because some girl related to this company made a pornography video. Hilton Holdings. So I don't think it's exactly related to the hotel system, but we don't really care. We're looking at the technicals. We're not looking at the fundamentals. We see a two white soldiers pattern, which is when we have a green candlestick and another green candlestick, and the bottom of the second green candlestick touches the top of the first candlestick. When they're in the same trading region, that implies a very strong bullish trend coming. And actually, if you look at the long term from March the 10th, it's been growing since then. We had one bad day, but other than that, it's been looking pretty good. Even this day was pretty good, because even though it fell from a higher point than it was at the previous close. Now we can just type something in here, because I don't think I just recommended this based on a momentum and a two white soldiers candlestick pattern, although that recommendation actually is quite a good recommendation, but there's probably another reason I recommended this. Let's see here. Right, here we go. We got super strong super strong support, no resistance in sight. That's key right there. One doesn't matter. One is basically zero. We don't have any resistance here. Look at this. It's been going up all the way, and so far we've got a very strong short-term upward trend and a great candlestick pattern with no resistance above us. We don't know how far this can go. Everything here is bullish except for the stochastics. Stochastics are bearish, probably because people are believing it's overbought, but that doesn't really matter because everything else is bullish. So this is actually this is a better buy and hold trade than it is a short-term swing trade. I'm going to recommend it for anyone who wants to trade, swing traders, position traders, investors. This is also going to be useful in your portfolio. So that is it. I'm going to be doing these every week. I have been doing these every week for, I don't know, a couple months now. At least a couple months now. So please subscribe. If you could subscribe, then you will get an automatic update when I have the next week's stock picks. You can get some easy money. At least if you have even a few dollars, you can just put it in the cheapest of what I recommend. I mean, we saw one that was 1 penny per share. So there's no reason not to subscribe, no reason not to open an account and just put some money in there and start, working at it. Even if you're new, figure it out. I started out, as a beginner as well. I didn't know what I was doing, and through a long time, I figured out systems that worked, that allowed me at one point in time, that amazed me, because previously I was just putting money into stocks hoping they'd go up, hoping they'd go down. In the end, I didn't make that much money. I made some money, but I barely broke even. And then eventually, after you get good at it, if you get to see these patterns, especially when you're looking at candlesticks and gaps and stuff like that, you can put in money to an account to where that money's growing at a point where you can just finance your lifestyle. You can take money out every month, and you're surprised because you look at the bank account and it's the same every month. It's the same, even though you've been taking money out. I think that's the best goal for a beginner. Of course, a lot of people watching this are probably looking for wealth growth. They don't care that they already have a lot of money, and they're just like, I just want more money. How do I double my $1 million? Well, these are some ways, but I would recommend that you use these recommendations along with, better than just buying stock strategies. You should probably get into options as well. You should probably look into gaps as well. So I have a whole gamut of information on that as well. Please check that out. And that is it for now. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments.